speed, a word that could be associated well with the American railroads of the 20th century. Almost every major railroad in the United States tried to operate the fastest and most luxurious trains in order to stay ahead in the competition. This would of course come with many attempts at building high-speed locomotives, whether it be steam, diesel, or in some cases electric. Various locomotive manufacturers like EMC, Fairbanks Morse, ALCo, and Baldwin all tried to build high-speed locomotives. Most of these companies had examples that were actually successful. Some failed horrifically. Successful examples include ALCo's J3A Hudsons, Baldwin's 484 Northerns, ALCo's 442 Atlantics, and EMC's EA Diesels. Speaking of diesels, they were to become the main source of power for most railroads nationwide by the 1950s, causing a good majority of steam locomotives across the nation to be sidelined and eventually scrapped. One particular diesel, though, was also a part of the competition for high speed, although it wouldn't turn out nearly as they wanted it to. This is the story of ALCo's Black Marias. So, it's the late 1930s, and streamliners were all over America. They were always on high-speed express luxury trains and regional trains. With the success of the EA diesel locomotive, General Motors launched the new FT fleet of F units. These would go on to be incredibly successful. Over at ALCo, they're still building steam locomotives, although they were only starting out with diesel technology by starting out with road switchers. Their first modern line of diesels were the DL series streamliners, built from 1939 to 1945. These were equipped with C-C trucks, 3 cab windows, 2 headlights, and sleek streamlining. They had a top speed range of 80 to 110 miles per hour, pretty good for a streamliner during this time. Although, ALCo felt like they could do even better. When America joined World War II in 1941, the US government, through the War Protection Board, curtailed the then 3 primary diesel locomotive manufacturers, Baldwin, ALCo, and EMD, from building new diesels in an effort to focus on the war. EMD took advantage of their already new FTs as they were already being mass-produced. And plus, they were already really successful diesel locomotives by this time. In 1943, ALCo was given permission to build an ABA set of freight diesels for testing. While not the most powerful on the market, the ABA set still had a whopping 4,500 horsepower. But if another B unit was added, the horsepower would have gone up to 6,000 for the 4-unit set, giving 1,500 horsepower to each unit. This single experimental set was called DL-202 or DL-203, and given the nickname Black Maria associated with its colors. The Black Marias used ALCo 241 V12 4-stroke diesel prime movers. The units were released for testing in September of 1945. The locomotive could attain the top speed of 80 miles an hour freight service and a staggering 125 miles per hour in passenger service supposedly, according to Wikipedia. The locomotives were given road numbers as 1500A, 1500B, and 1500C. According to Adam Burns of American Rails, it has often been mentioned that they resembled ALCo's earlier DL-109 series locomotives built in the early 1940s. However, those variants were built specifically for passenger service, featuring A1A trucks and powered with the 538T prime movers. A handful of railroads purchased the DL model, most notably New Haven, which purchased 60 of them, where they spent more than 20 years of service before being unfortunately scrapped. From the words of La Rosa's Trains, General Electric apparently built its own ABBA set in 1954 to produce the same amount of power output that the Black Maria could have done, but I'm not sure how that went though. If anybody else knows about this, please do tell the story in the comments. All 3 Black Maria units were tested extensively on 4 railroads: the New York Central, Delaware and Hudson, New Haven, and the Bangor and Aroostook. During this time, it was used in both freight and passenger service. In the end, ALCo unfortunately opted not to put the 241 engine into full-scale production because they thought that the newer 244 engine was a more reliable prime mover. However, only months after it began testing, ALCo released its new FA/FB1 freight model in December of 1945, equipped with that engine. To put it simply, no one really wanted the Black Marias despite how promising they seemed. The FA/FB units would be massively produced across America, along with other countries having them as well, albeit built to their specific specifications. It's safe to say that the FAs were incredibly successful diesel locomotives. lasting decades in service with several other models of the fleet. The Black Marias would unfortunately be scrapped in Schenectady, New York in 1947, which is ironically the place that they were built. In conclusion, the ALCo DL-202 Black Marias were definitely a unique experiment in the horsepower race of the mid-20th century. Though it had a lot of promises, it never got past the testing stages due to being overshadowed by a more successful fleet of diesels. It sucks that there's a very small amount of running photos of them on the internet, but they didn't last long in general, and plus they were the only set ever built. If you enjoyed this video, you're more than welcome to check out some of my others. If you want, you could also subscribe and join my Discord server, but I won't tell you what to do. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching and have a good day.